Hello and welcome students. Today we are going to learn about transformation into complex sentences. There will be several different segments on this particular subject, particular topic, that is transformation into complex sentences. And today we are going to go through part 1. For part 1 I have chosen a set of 5 sentences for you. These sentences are either simple sentences or compound sentences, and we shall see how we can transform these sentences into complex sentences. Now for that I would like to remind you, we have already seen what are complex sentences. However, I would like to remind you once again that a complex sentence is a sentence which has a main clause and one or more than one subordinate clauses. Along with that, a complex sentence would of course therefore have more than one finite verb. But the main thing, the most important thing to remember about the constitution of a complex sentence is that a complex sentence is made of one main clause and one or more than one subordinate clause. Now, let us first read these sentences that I have chosen for you. Number 1, she insisted upon having his company all her waking hours. Number 2, Leela was wearing a gold chain. Number 3, she had a box filled with catalogs. Number 4, his stiff, inflexible wrist cracked. And number 5, Siddha told incomparable stories. For people who have read this story, they have already probably identified that I have chosen all these sentences from a story by R.K. Narayan, which is Leela's friend. And now let us see how we can transform these sentences into complex. Firstly, sentence number 1, she insisted upon having his company all her waking hours. Now, see, in this sentence, the final verb is insisted. You must not get confused because having over here is acting as a gerund, which looks like a verb, but actually does the job of a noun. She insisted upon what? She insisted upon having his company all her waking hours. Again, waking may look like a verb, but then it is a participle because it qualifies this noun, hours. So there's actually one finite verb, insisted. Now we have got to make it a complex sentence. So what are we going to do? We're going to write she insisted that she should have. See how this second finite verb is coming into business. She insisted that she should have his company all her waking hours. Now, as you can see, now we have got one main clause which is she insisted, and one subordinate clause, that is that he should have his company all her waking hours, and there are two final verbs, insisted and should have. Now this is a complex sentence. Let us move on to sentence number 2. Leela was wearing a gold chain. How can we transform this sentence? It's pretty easy. Leela was wearing a chain which was made of gold. See students, the moment we import this portion which was made of gold, it immediately becomes a complex sentence with a main clause. Leela was wearing a chain. This is the main clause. Leela was wearing a chain. This is the main clause. whereas which was made of gold is the subordinate clause. So again, this is a complex sentence. This has now become a complex sentence. Let us move on to sentence number 3 now. She had a box filled with catalogs. This is again pretty easy and very similar to the previous one. She had a box filled with catalogs. We are going to write she had a box which was filled with catalogs. The students will see that here we had only one verb, had, and filled was of course the participle, past participle. She had a box filled with catalogs. We have just broken it, and instead of writing box filled with catalogs, we have written box which was filled with catalogs, and inevitably we have got two verbs, had and was filled. Now this has become a complex sentence with main clause which is she had a box, and then the subordinate clause which was filled with catalogs. So this has now become a complex sentence. Let us move on to sentence number 4. His deep, inflexible wrist cracked. Again, this is pretty much similar to the previous sentences. His wrist, which was stiff and inflexible, cracked. So the main clause is his wrist cracked, and the subordinate clause is which. Oh, I'm sorry, this was over here, which was stiff and inflexible, cracked. So again, we have got a complex sentence. Let us move on to sentence number 5. Siddha told incomparable stories. Again, this is pretty simple. Siddha told stories. So we have got the main clause, Siddha told stories. Now we are going to add a subordinate clause, which, remember, stories is plural. So which, where, why where? Because told is in past tense. So Siddha told stories which were incomparable. Again, we have got a complex sentence, which has one main clause, one subordinate clause, and one finite clause. So students, hope this short presentation of ours will help you. And let me tell you that in our future lessons, we are going to learn more about transformation of sentences into complex, transformation of sentences into complex ones, and we are going to learn a large variety of sentences, how to transform them into complex sentences from simple to compound. Thank you, students, and hope to see you soon. For testing your understanding of this lesson and more videos, log on to www.tubelessons.net.